There are moments in life when everything feels out of control. You've prayed, you've cried, you've tried, and still nothing seems to move. You watch others rise while you remain stuck, wondering, when will it be my turn? Listen to me carefully. Worry is the language of doubt, but faith is the posture of trust. When you worry, you declare silently that Allah has forgotten you. But when you trust, you remind your soul that the one who wrote your story has not stopped writing. Every delay is not a denial, it is divine preparation. Sometimes Allah hides blessings behind waiting seasons so your heart can mature enough to handle them. You may not see progress, but something is happening behind the scenes. You are being shaped, strengthened, stretched, not destroyed. You think Allah is silent, but silence is not absence. It's in the silence that faith grows. It's in the silence that you learn to stop depending on your own plans and start depending on His wisdom. Every closed door has meaning. Every unanswered prayer has mercy hidden within it. You see, the problem is not that Allah hasn't answered, it's that we've already decided how He should. We measure His power by our timetable, and when He doesn't move according to our schedule, we assume He's forgotten us. But no, Allah is never late, He's always strategic. He doesn't rush what He's perfecting. So stop panicking. Stop forcing outcomes that aren't meant to happen yet. Stop replaying your pain like a broken record. The more you worry, the more you delay your peace. Let your soul rest in the truth that Allah is not a man that He should fail you. He knows what you lost. He knows what you prayed for. He knows how tired you are. But He also knows that this storm will not last forever. Your tears are not wasted. They are watering the seeds of your next season. When it's time, what you thought was broken will become the very testimony that lifts others. So breathe, let go, trust again. Because when Allah fixes something, He doesn't just restore it, He multiplies it. You may have lost time, but He will give you speed. You may have lost people, but He will send destiny helpers. You may have lost peace, but He will give you divine stability. You don't have to figure it all out, that's His job. Your job is to remain faithful, grateful, and ready. Every time your mind says, what if it doesn't happen? Answer back, what if it does? Every time fear whispers you're finished, answer back, Allah is just getting started. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. The same Allah who turned yesterday's pain into today's wisdom will turn today's worry into tomorrow's miracle. So stop worrying. He will fix it beautifully, perfectly, and on time. Worry is doubt, trust is faith. These are not just words, but two completely different ways of living. Worry is the mind's way of trying to control what it cannot understand, while faith is the heart's way of surrendering to what it cannot yet see. When you worry, you declare silently that you do not trust the one who holds tomorrow. But when you choose trust, you align yourself with divine timing, a rhythm that never fails, even when it seems slow. Every time you worry, you are rehearsing fear. You are replaying the possibility of loss, failure, or disappointment, and in doing so, you drain your own strength. Worry does not change the outcome. It only steals the energy you need to face it. It's like running on a treadmill. You move, you sweat, but you go nowhere. Worry keeps you busy, but never productive. It is an emotional tax that brings no reward. But trust is different. Trust is quiet power. It is not denial of reality. It is a declaration that reality does not have the final say. When you trust, you stop forcing results and start flowing with divine timing. You stop chasing answers and start preparing your heart for what is coming. You begin to understand that what is delayed is not denied, it is being refined. The same way a seed must stay hidden in the soil before it becomes a tree, your breakthrough must go through its own season of silence before it becomes visible. Trust means learning to breathe even when you don't know how the story ends. It means saying, I don't see it yet, but I know it's working for me. It's not a passive wait, it's an active posture of peace. You are not sitting idle, you are standing firm. You are refusing to let circumstances dictate your belief. You are training your heart to believe that divine timing never fails, even if human timing does. When you worry, you build walls. When you trust, you open doors. Worry shuts you off from solutions because fear clouds perception. But when you trust, clarity begins to return. Ideas start to flow. Direction begins to unfold. You attract peace, and peace attracts answers. The mind that is calm sees further than the mind that is anxious. That is why faith and worry cannot coexist. One must die for the other to live. You must understand that trust is not weakness. It is one of the greatest forms of strength. It takes courage to say, I don't know what will happen, but I know I'm not alone. It takes maturity to release control and allow divine wisdom to lead. The one who trusts is not naive. They are wise enough to know that timing is everything. They have seen enough to realize that rushing destiny only leads to regret. The universe does not respond to panic. It responds to peace. When you stop worrying, you align with the frequency of faith, and that alignment attracts solutions that worry could never bring. You start to meet the right people at the right time. Doors that were closed begin to open. Situations that seemed stuck begin to shift. Why? Because your energy matches the patience of divine order. Every delay has purpose. Every unanswered prayer carries instruction. Every disappointment hides redirection. And every moment of waiting is shaping your capacity to handle what you asked for. Worry says, what if it never happens? Trust says, if it's meant for me, it will come in its season. The choice between the two determines your peace. So when your heart begins to race and your thoughts start to spiral, remind yourself, worry is doubt, trust is faith. You cannot hold both at once. Choose trust and watch how peace returns. Choose trust and notice how things begin to move in your favor. Because the moment you stop worrying, you shift from fear into flow, from anxiety into alignment with divine timing, and that's where miracles begin. Silence is not absence. Many times when life feels quiet, when your prayers seem unanswered and your heart feels unseen, you begin to wonder if Allah has forgotten you. But silence is not a sign of neglect. It is often a sign of deep work happening behind the scenes. When you hear nothing, it does not mean nothing is happening. It simply means the process is unfolding in ways you cannot yet perceive. The quiet seasons of life are where faith matures, where your trust is tested, and where your patience grows roots strong enough to hold your destiny. There are moments when you speak to Allah and there is no immediate reply. You look for signs, you hope for breakthroughs, yet everything feels still. But that stillness is not empty, it is sacred. Just as a seed buried underground seems hidden, but is actually preparing to sprout, your silence is a spiritual soil where transformation takes place. Growth often begins in quietness. You may not see progress, but something is taking shape beneath the surface. Allah's plans don't always announce themselves with noise. They unfold quietly, perfectly, and right on time. When Allah is silent, He is not ignoring you, He is organizing what concerns you. He is aligning people, opportunities, and timing. He is removing things that could harm your next season. Sometimes the silence is protection. If He showed you everything at once, you might rush ahead, speak too soon, or lose focus. Silence creates stillness, and stillness allows clarity. It forces you to listen differently, to look within, to strengthen your relationship with trust rather than evidence. You see, the challenge of silence is that it tests your inner dialogue. When you can't hear a response, your thoughts begin to race. Doubt creeps in, fear grows loud, and impatience whispers, maybe it's over. But that's when you must anchor yourself in remembrance. The same Allah who guided you before has not changed. Just because He is silent does not mean He is absent. The teacher is always quiet during the test, not because he left the room, but because he trusts that you already know what to do. Silence is where your endurance is built. Anyone can praise when the answers come quickly, but real faith is proven when you can still believe in the dark. The quiet seasons teach you to stop chasing signs and start cultivating strength. You learn to find peace not in explanations, but in presence. You begin to realize that Allah's silence is not a void, it's a message. It says, "Be still, I am working." You may not see it now, but soon you'll understand why the wait was necessary. Sometimes the silence before a breakthrough is the loudest silence of all. Everything seems motionless right before something shifts. It's like the pause between lightning and thunder, still, but full of energy. You must learn to trust that pause. You must remind yourself that silence does not mean forgotten. It means preparation. If the answer came too early, you might not appreciate it. If the door opened too soon, you might not be ready to walk through it. The quiet is Allah's way of perfecting the timing. So the next time you face silence, don't panic. Breathe, trust, keep doing what is right even when you hear nothing. The silence is not the end. It's the space before revelation. It's the calm before the shift. The proof will come, the clarity will arrive, and when it does, you'll realize that every moment of quiet was filled with divine activity. Allah was never absent, he was simply silent because he was working on something too important to rush. Rest in trust. This is one of the hardest yet most freeing lessons in life, to release control and allow Allah to do what only he can do. We often live with clenched fists, holding onto outcomes, timing, and expectations as if everything depends on us. But the truth is, peace begins where control ends. The moment you surrender, you give space for divine wisdom to move. When you stop forcing outcomes and start trusting the process, you discover that what you thought was lost was only being transformed for something greater. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means giving over. It's saying, "I have done my part, and now I trust Allah with the rest." Many times, your stress does not come from the situation itself, but from your need to control it. You replay conversations, overthink outcomes, and carry burdens that were never yours to hold. Yet when you rest in trust, you remind your soul that the one who created you also knows how to sustain you. Nothing escapes his awareness. Every tear, every disappointment, every closed door is accounted for in a plan much larger than your own understanding. When you surrender the outcome, you shift from worry to wisdom. You begin to see that losing something is not always loss, sometimes it's liberation. The things you thought you needed might have been the very things holding you back. Trust teaches you that what leaves your life by divine will is never meant to destroy you. It's clearing space for something aligned with your destiny. When Allah takes something away, it's not rejection, it's redirection. And when he restores, he does not give back what you lost. He gives back something higher, richer, and more complete. Resting in trust also means refusing to chase what has already been decided. You stop running after people who walked away. You stop mourning doors that closed. You stop questioning why things didn't go your way. Instead, you learn to say, if it was meant for me, it would have stayed. If it left, it means something better is coming. That mindset doesn't make pain disappear, but it gives pain purpose. It allows your heart to heal without bitterness and your mind to breathe without confusion. Trust is an anchor in the storm. When everything feels uncertain, trust keeps you grounded. It reminds you that even when life seems to be falling apart, something divine is falling into place. The timing of Allah is never wrong. What you perceive as delay is often protection. What you perceive as loss is often positioning, and what you perceive as silence is often preparation. You must believe that the story is not over just because the chapter hurts. The author is still writing, and his endings are always beautiful. There is a calmness that comes when you finally release what you cannot control. You stop begging for what's gone and start preparing for what's next. You stop doubting the future and start thanking Allah for the unseen blessings that are already on their way. That is what it means to rest in trust, to live with open hands and a peaceful heart, knowing that whatever is meant for you will never miss you. And when the restoration comes, it never arrives quietly. It comes overflowing. It comes in ways that make you realize why the loss had to happen first. Because what Allah restores, He multiplies. He doesn't just replace what was broken, He rebuilds it stronger. He doesn't just return what was taken, He upgrades it with purpose. So instead of worrying about what slipped away, focus on preparing for what's being prepared for you. When you rest in trust, you stop surviving and start living. You stop resisting and start receiving. You begin to understand that peace is not found in having everything under control. It is found in knowing that Allah already does.